Hey fellas, Dane here. Today I wanted to cover my league starter, Tech Slime Ignite. It went pretty well. It's not nice on the hands, and if you don't really like jumping through the hoops required to scale Ignite, you're probably not gonna enjoy it that much. You know, like going for the double curse, having your implicits well rolled, and kind of scraping for every little thing you can get for Ignite damage. But if you want to play melee ignite and try and utilize a few of these melee fire nodes GGG have been cramming and injecting into the tree, this might be a build for you actually. Or you can just use all this to work off of it and come up with your own little ignite slammer. The clear is great. Your AoE is obviously phenomenal when you have charges. Jug's the ascendancy of choice, which I'll cover in a minute. Your scaling ignites with the all damage can ignite charm, actually. We'll give a special mention to a fortify. It's still a completely trash mechanic with how it works versus you trying to scale ignite damage and all this stuff. It's extremely counterintuitive. The build uses a chieftain cluster jewels for the boom boom and the 3% burning mastery explode. For extra clear, obviously it just munches beyond and everything, but without global ignite chance, these explosions on this build are not going to ignite. So in that regard, it's purely cosmetic clear, except it actually kills monsters unlike Herald of Ice and skills like that. Your defenses are just picking Jug, getting some max res, Granite and Jade Flasks, you allocate Unbreakable, you have Endurance charges, and you hit your guard skill. That's more than enough for most of the game, actually. And then if you choose to farm altars a little more heavily, you just need to get more Fire and Chaos Res, or I think it's Cold and Lightning for Eater, and you're pretty much good to go. And then I guess in PUB, I'll kind of go over like the helmet math, how to properly config to see what you're even doing, and what you're even looking at in the POB. So this is my character at 98 when I stop playing him, and I'll just go over the config quick, and you can make your own informed opinions and decisions here. Skills deal 56 more damage. That's from your helmet actually, because PoE doesn't calculate that, and the point of the helmet is like it creates the build. You get the feedback loop, you actually can deal damage. It does a bunch of things. This is your ruthless hit. In POB, it's actually only showing you the average hit, even when you have max hit ticked. So you'd want to put this in yourself because the max hit is what you care about with Ruthless. And then skills deal 20% more damage. This could be a huge fucking lie essentially, but the idea was to combine it with Concussive Force so that the base stun from Ruthless is giving you 20% more ignite damage because you're guaranteeing that every third hit, something like that. Or that was the idea. Jury's still out on that one. Story evolved, pretty self-explanatory. It's like why you can even deal any ignite damage. Red Blade Banner for your Warcries and Warcry power. This is just an option because you have all damage can ignite charm. This is very important. I have cannot be blinded on here because it's pretty useful. This is for Berserk, which is majority of your clear speed, and it gives you a nice chunk of EHP. It's not going to increase your ignite damage, but that's okay. The reason that this is so special over Warbringer is that you don't sacrifice any rage when you're over 25 rage, so you can just play the game, and you cast Warcry so frequently that you're just always going to have rage, and you're probably always going to be Berserk. And then this charm combined with that which was taken, Inerexible, and the Jug passive is how you get 100% chance to gain an endurance charge when hit, combined with Juggernaut's own built-in enduring composure. You're getting a couple chances pretty much every attack or second to roll up to 8 endurance charges, which really helps with consistency when you're mapping. Although if you ever have to just like kind of reload your endurance charges, you have Enduring Cry. For this jewel, the second most important mod I would say is the increased critical strike chance if you haven't dealt a critical strike recently, actually, because you have a pretty low percent chance to crit and you want the highest EO uptime that you can get. So without critting, it goes up to like 15, which is, I don't know the math, it's probably like 1 in 7, something like that, which makes your average pretty good. And then these other two rolls here were literally icing on the cake. You know, chance to recover 10% mana, that never hurts, and then the 40% increase of non-damaging ailments. So when you roll that critical strike, it's probably going to put a pretty large shock on the boss. Effective shock 20, but I've seen as high as like 32, 33, 34, just on map bosses and stuff like that. So that's really good. Gloves, you know, mandatory implicits here, no surprise. Fire exposure, fire proliff. I got these for 20C when I was like playing the guy, like gearing it out. I'm sure you can find better, um, or with the stats you need. The amulet here is hot garbage. The important thing here is Whispers of Doom. You know, there's Fire Dot Multi. There's a few other mods like your Leo damage crafts. I believe damage while leeching will work, and your elemental damage with attack rolls on your jewelry. As you can see, that's not on this jewelry at all. It's literally just res, cap, and stats. Once again, you can put wet on here, and you know, +1 max endurance charge rings, and you can craft them with delirium essence for the damage over time multiplier suffix. Belt, catalysis, it's good. Defensive flasks, you know, curses, speed, armor, reduce shock. These are boom boom jewels. You don't need them, but it's really fun for clear. And then if you have any flexible slots, you know, I have this. There's also like damage with wrath, and you could get more PDR or flat armor with determination and things like that. I think those would be pretty good options as well. And then obviously taking advantage of all damage can ignite. You run the wrath aura, your battle mage's cry set up. You actually need to hit them a couple times, and I believe all spells that get auto casted, they start from the top left, and they go like the same way a linked armor would go. So it'd go like, you know, left, right, down, left, down, right, you know, like that. So keep in mind the order that you want. So you want flammability and elemental weakness to be casting before the flame surge, because those are your really big debuffs. I would say that covers pretty much the character in a nutshell. Actually, there's a few different other ways to play it. There's probably a few other ways to build it. I wasn't sure. I just kind of had the idea and sort of went for it and just built upon that and ended up with this. So if you think it's cool, give it a try, and you know, hope everyone has a great Affliction League.